pressure on reservoirs. And a major airport runway was closed for hours as the tarmac sizzled. All that should focus minds, because whoever leads the next government here at Westminster is being warned that as the global climate crisis takes hold, heat waves like this one will become more regular and more extreme, with fatal consequences.
The extreme heat in parts of Europe and North Africa causes thousands of people to flee their homes amid deadly wildfires. Firefighters are battling flames in Spain, Portugal, France, Greece and Morocco. Spain's Prime Minister warns it's a reminder climate change kills. Plus, if you're worrying about how on earth you'll get some sleep in this weather, we'll be speaking live to a sleep scientist about what happens to our bodies in the heat and how to stay cool.
And with extreme heat warnings covering much of the UK for the rest of today and tomorrow, I'll have the latest on which records have been broken and exactly when it's going to cool down.
Dozens of schools have closed, many train services have been cancelled or delayed amid fears the searing heat could cause train tracks to buckle, and flights were suspended at Luton Airport because of problems with the runway. As the mercury soars to almost unprecedented levels and much of the country remains under a red warning for extreme heat, Wales has recorded its highest temperature ever, 37 Celsius in Harden in Flintshire. While in England, the hottest place was in Santon Down in Suffolk, which reached just over 38 degrees this afternoon, making this the hottest day of the year so far. Our Home Affairs correspondent Darshna Sawhney is on the banks of the River Trent in Nottingham. Darshna.
Well, whether you've been seeking the sun or sheltering in the shade, it's been an absolute scorcher here today. We may not officially have broken any records, but it certainly felt like that at times. It's been very uncomfortable during the day. We've seen plenty of people out and about enjoying the sunshine, especially here along the River Thames. But the authorities have been warning caution when it comes to water, because sadly over the last few days we're getting reports that several people have died after getting into difficulty in the water, including at the weekend a 16-year-old boy who died whilst swimming in Salford Keys. And today we tragically heard of another teenager who died after getting into difficulty in a lake in Maidenhead in Berkshire. Now, as well as the red warning from the Met Office, we've also seen a level 4 warning issued by the UK Health and Security Authority, which we're told the government is treating as a national emergency. So how have people been getting on during this national emergency? We've been out and about today in Nottinghamshire to find out, where we're told tomorrow we could see temperatures here as high as 41 degrees. Here's how people have been coping.
Tropical temperatures across a brown and blazing land. The heart of England, today hotter than the Caribbean and Western Sahara.
Have you got nice memories of going to the beach then?
I went on a donkey when I was about 8 years old.
Did you? Do you still remember that?
Yeah.
Elaine Wood and her friends were keeping cool at their care home in Nottinghamshire.
Do you enjoy the sun?
I think when you get older you can't sorry what you can when you're young, you know.
We've got the fans to cool the air and circulate the air. We've purchased more ice creams and ice lollies and that type of thing.
Just some of the measures the manager has in place to help look after the 54 residents, some of whom have dementia.
So it's a bit of a worry trying to keep everyone cool.
Yeah, keeping everybody cool, trying to dissuade them from going outside and into the direct sun.
Nottinghamshire is forecast to see a record 41 degrees by tomorrow. Angie Hallam's father was in the army, and so she spent her childhood living across Europe.
And you think they cope better with the heat there?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Do you think we complain too much here?
Yeah. Straight talking. Yeah, it's never right. It's either too wet or too hot.
They weren't quite sure what to make of these homemade frozen fruits at the city's Stonebridge farm.
It's quite stressful in ensuring that they've got everything they need, but also making sure that they're not getting too hot.
It's the first time the Met Office has issued a red extreme heat warning, which saw a widespread impact on people and animals and infrastructure.
This weather is absolutely unprecedented. We have never seen anything like these temperatures in our models before. So the highest temperature we've ever recorded in the UK is 38.7 in 2019. We are seeing a higher than 90% chance of breaking that temperature, if not today, then tomorrow.
Across the country, playgrounds were peaceful as students sheltered in the shade.
The heat is so hot, we could easily get overheated and probably get sunburn. So that's why I had to stay inside, so it's safer. It's way too hot to go outside. Even if you go in the shade, it will still be too hot.
Schools weren't ordered to close, although some did. Instead, the government asked head teachers to make sure pupils were safe and comfortable.
We always want school to be open wherever possible, so I think the arrangements we've made today means that children are happy and safe and they're in school.
This is due to severe weather.
While they were in school, some parents and commuters struggled to get to work. Network Rail had asked people to travel only if absolutely necessary. There were some cancellations and speed restrictions along many lines. Tomorrow, no services will run between London, Leeds and York for much of the day.
There's been a few cancellations this morning, but it's going okay. But tomorrow all the trains cancelled from where I live.
The way I look at it is people pay good money to go abroad to get this sort of weather. We get 2 days of it over here and the whole country comes to a standstill. What does that say about us as a nation?
At Luton Airport, flights were suspended for a while after the high temperatures led to what was described as a surface defect on the runway. And if you thought today was warm, be set to swelter some more tomorrow.
Darshana Soni there, reporting from the banks of the River Trent in Nottingham. So how well has the government here in Westminster been handling the heat emergency? And is the UK in a fit state to deal with the impact? Our political reporter Serena Barker-Singh is with me now. Serena.
Well, yes, the government are keen to stress that they're clearly on top of what is a very serious situation. So they've had 3 COBRA meetings over the last couple of days. This is where they talk to public health officials like senior medical officer Chris Whitty, and they say the NHS is coping, schools and hospitals the same. But who has been noticeably absent has been the Prime Minister. And this has raised eyebrows for some because he has, for instance, attended the Farnborough Air Show today. And that's led the Leader of the Opposition to question whether the government are taking this heatwave seriously enough.
For many people today, it's going to be a real struggle today and tomorrow, the heat. And they're seeing a Prime Minister who's basically checked out, so he's not really doing anything. And you've got a cabinet that is completely distracted with the circus of a leadership race.
It is literally my job as Chancellor of the Duchy of Lancaster to chair COBRA, particularly where the Civil Contingency Secretariat is involved, and then to brief the Prime Minister accordingly, which I did yesterday morning at 8 o'clock. It is my job to coordinate across the whole of government, and that is what we have been doing.
And it's not just Labour who are concerned. A cross-party committee has come out today to say that they're worried about things like buckling railroads or melting roads. And they actually say there's a hole in government because there's no minister who's responsible for what they describe as critical national infrastructure to the effects of climate change. And obviously, you know, Kathy, here in Parliament, when it's these sweltering conditions, it's not the most comfortable of places. So the issue of climate change is quite squarely on MPs' minds. Just today, there was a hustings for the next leadership in the leadership race for the next Conservative leader, just in a room upstairs. And this is where policies of climate change were put to the future PM to kind of tease out how committed they are to the issues of climate change.
Serena, thanks very much, reporting from a rare cool spot in the Palace of Westminster. So what does all that mean for the NHS? Some hospitals are cancelling routine appointments and doctors are warning of the health risks to vulnerable people. In a moment, we'll get the latest from our health correspondent, Victoria McDonald, who's outside University College Hospital in London. But first, for the latest on those record temperatures, I'm joined by our weather presenter, Liam Dutton, who is beside the River Thames at Runnymede in Surrey. So Liam, tell us first, how hot has it been today?
Well, Kathy, it's been very hot across a large swathe of the UK. Temperatures across England and Wales have widely been in the mid to high 30s. And of course, Wales has had its hottest day on record. The mercury there soaring today in Harden in the northeast of the country to 37.1 Celsius. And that broke the old record by almost 2 degrees. It's an astounding difference to create a new record by. Now, elsewhere in the UK, the hottest place has been Santon Downham in Suffolk. The temperature there got to 38.1, very hot, but not quite hot enough to break the current all-time maximum temperature record for the UK. That still stands at 38.7, and that was set back in July 2019 in Cambridge. But nevertheless, we still have another day of extreme heat to go tomorrow, and if anything, for eastern parts of the UK, temperatures could be a degree or so higher, so potentially getting as high as 40 or 41 degrees. Unprecedented heat here in the UK.
So when is it going to cool down, Liam?
Well, before we get to that, Kathy, let's talk about the warnings that are still in force for the rest of today and indeed into tomorrow. We'll take a look at the map. You can see England, Wales, southern and eastern parts of Scotland, still orange, amber warnings covering those areas. Then you've got that higher tier red warning for London, the Midlands, into parts of the home counties and northern parts of England. And it's in the red warning area that there's the highest chance of seeing those temperatures getting to around 40 or 41 degrees tomorrow.